Welcome to The Threat. I'm Jay Solomon. On July 28th, a New York jury convicted Hadi Matar, a 28-year-old Lebanese American, of engaging in terrorism by attempting to assassinate the Booker Prize-winning novelist Salman Rushdie in the summer of 2022. Matar was specifically found guilty of seeking to provide material support to the Iran-backed terrorist organization Hezbollah by carrying out the attack at a literary festival in Western New York. Matar's conviction marks the latest chapter in a nearly 40-year saga known as the Rushdie affair. It stems from Iran's late supreme leader Ayatollah Khomeini issuing a religious edict, or Fatwa, in 1989 that called for Rushdie's death in response to the novel he published the year before, The Satanic Verses. Khomeini ruled the book was blasphemous to Islam due to its depiction of the Prophet Muhammad. And since then, Rushdie, at times, has lived under round-the-clock protection in London while eventually trying to maintain a relatively normal life in the U.S. Publishers and translators of the Satanic Verses, meanwhile, have been attacked and in one case murdered by Islamic extremism. The Rushdie affair, in many ways, redefined the relationships between Islam and the West, and it highlighted the radical Islamist ideology can pose to open societies. It also shows the long arm of the Islamic Republic of Iran and its allies in seeking to enforce their beliefs and pursue their perceived enemies overseas. To discuss Hadi Matar's conviction and the history of the Rushdie affair, I'm delighted to have on The Threat this week Dr. Suha Hassan. Suha is a counterterrorism expert who specializes in radicalization, jihadist movements, and the interplay between religious narratives and violence. She earned her PhD from George Mason University and is an adjunct teaching fellow at the American Public University. Suha, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's get started with the conviction of Hadi Matar last month in New York. It got very little coverage, particularly considering Salman Rushdie's celebrity. But Matar was proven to be directly in touch with an individual in Iran who helped plan the attack. And as I had documented in my own story last year, Matar's family had strong ties to Hezbollah in South Lebanon. Just to start, are you surprised Iran and its allies tried to kill Rushdie inside the U.S.?
Actually, I'm not surprised at all. And also I feel a little bit sad because this case is not covered well, because we are in the middle of a huge conflict now between Iran and the United States, and require more attention about lone wolf attack, because the Rushdie affair is not a single case, but it's just a small piece of large and complex phenomena, which is like a weaponization of narrative against United States and its allies around the world.
But do you think Iran has gotten more emboldened? Because I think the perception might have been that they or Hezbollah would not carry out such an attack inside the U.S. But I guess because of and this happened before the current war, but you're not surprised that they would actually carry out such an operation inside the U.S.
So actually, we need to look at the phenomena itself as like a narrative, like as I said, weaponization of narrative. So we need to look what Khomeini issued in 1983. So it is like this fatwa is still alive. So it is his fatwa can involve two important elements. So if we need to look to the fatwa, which is, if I'm not sure if you have it, I can read it for you.
Yes, please.
I translated to English, the original Arabic one. I inform all zealous Muslim of the world that author of the book entitled The Satanic Verse, which has been compiled, printed, published, opposition to Islam. Look at the word zealous. Zealous, this is like, those who follow Imam Mahdi steps. So So if you interpret it to Arabic word, so it is mean that zealous is it's work in the past, it work in the present, it will work in the future. So also at the end of his fatwa, there is a word which is called, there's an important word I also highlighted, whoever is killed on this path is a martyr. So martyr in Islamic perspective, in both Shia and Sunni ideology or like theology, it is very important like to sacrifice yourself for a great issue or for a holy mission. That's why it is still alive. So based on this, we need to understand narrative as a transformative unit and transformative and as a living entity. So it is transformed from generation to generation. So matter is just a single case from large things that happening in the present, in the past, and the present.
Interesting. Can you place the Rushdie attack of 22 into this kind of broader context of Iranian operations in the West? Because it does feel like they're becoming more emboldened. You had 2 Iranian agents were convicted last year of trying to assassinate the Iranian human rights campaigner Masih Alinejad, also in New York. And this May, the FBI captured in Iraq the head of an Iranian-backed militia called Kataib Hezbollah, which is charged with executing a number, like half a dozen or a dozen attacks in Europe over the past 5 months. It kind of feeds into your idea of these narratives, but why do they seem to be so much more active now? Because some of this stuff was happening before the current war.
Yeah, so there is a concept I developed. It's called body trap and temporal collapse. So what's happening is that, like what Khomeini did, is during using his fatwa, there's one theme. If you go trace them, you go and trace each fatwa, there is a temporality manipulation. He manipulate the time. So always there's always focus on the appearance of 313 fellow of Imam al-Mahdi. This is a very old concept in the Shia concepts, that anyone who will attack the enemy of Islam, even like those who like in case of Rushdie, they will consider one of the fellow of the companion of Imam al-Mahdi. So you need mentally they are prepared to be sacrifice themselves to be one of the fellow of Imam al-Mahdi, the 130. So that is the main idea of why there is more attack. If you go now to the YouTube, social media, Telegram, it is all using AI. There's many images about this historical and religious story. So and if you also go to Hezbollah, like Nasrallah, and always emphasis on this story, that if you sacrifice yourself and you did more attack, then you get the dignity. You get you are pure person, that you are reborn again. That is the emphasis now. So you will see more and more attack, and I don't think from what I am following or reading, this will be a single case or this will be stopped here.
Wow. So we have 2 dynamics in some ways. Technology, AI you're describing, and you also have the current war between the US and Iran, which started in late February. How do you think these 2 elements, including the war, are going to influence extremist narratives and the potential for more of these kind of lone wolves or broader attacks in America and other Western countries?
Here's the thing. The model I developed is called killing vessel model. Let me
killing vessel model?
Killing vessel model. So how I define the killing vessel model? Let me read my definition to this model. In this mechanism, each narrative unit or each word act as a carrier of complementary unit of violence akin to a key mechanism. This is to sustain violence as a living system and turn individual bodies into a vessel of autolytic violence. Is in other words, so here's my model. I will read more about it. So you have here the Ar-Ruh the holy order. That's coming from Quran. Then you have the what Khomeini started in his revolution, and he started in this whole fatwa. He used linguistic masking. In other words, that he abuse or manipulate the relationship between Arabic language and Quranic language, because they have the vice versa relationship. Then he stripped the Arabic word from its meaning and reloaded with the religious or extremist narrative or anti-Semitic or anti-Western narrative. Then you have this word. So when you read the Arabic word, it's not meaning anymore any like ordinary word. It's all loaded with hate. Then this system that he built a huge system. It's called self-organizing narrative system. Then this system became a killing vessel. So each person now hold the idea. I'm not saying like no generalization, but those who accept the wilayat al-faqih. So each body is now trapped his body or her body is trapped. So psychologically or mentally, they are physically here, but actually they are living in the past with trapped in the historical narrative, and they are imagining themselves as a warrior of Allah. So this lead us that they will practice more symbolic act of killing. So, for example, killing, like the attempt of killing Rushdie, is a symbolic act of purification. This person now he's okay, he's with you here, but mentally he's in the past. He's acting as a companion of Prophet Muhammad and also preparing himself to be a companion of Al-Mahdi. So this is like the mechanism now is occurring that you will see more and more of lone attack.
And the internet and AI is like a steroid. It will increase this pattern.
Yeah, even like recently, I'm not sure if you watched the funeral of Ali Khamenei. It was one of the largest symbolic thing that occur in Iraq, in Syria, in Iraq and Iran, and I will say more like also in Lebanon, because what happened that they brought his coffin or remains to Najaf and Karbala, sending signals to Iraqi Shia, the ordinary people or local peoples. Hey, you could be like, especially when they touch his coffin, that's all those practices around, like thousands of people follow him, telling the people, you could be also a martyr and became a companion of Imam al-Mahdi like him. So Iran recently sent these signals to locals. So their strategy actually moved from like, they know they have some weakness here and there, so now they are switching to other strategy, playing at the individual level. So those millions of people around the world, including inside the United States, they could be prepared to be a companion of Imam al-Mahdi.
Back to the fatwa. Can you take us back to Khomeini's issuing of it in 1989 and why it sent such shockwaves across the Middle East and the West? Because it really did kind of change in a lot of ways the relationship between Islam and the West's more open societies. Why was this fatwa such a kind of lynch point or a triggering event in the history of the relations between Islam and the West?
So basically, Khomeini used around 1,400 year fatwa, which is called apostasy, or those like specifically for those who are Muslim, then they betray Islam. So Khomeini described Rushdie, based on what I have read so far, he was like is like the enemy of Islam, and he is allied with the United States and the Western countries. Apostasy is supposed not to be used because it is came from originally from Sunni leader, which is all called Umar ibn al-Khattab, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, which is considered a Sunni figure. And so, but when Khomeini used it, was okay. Why he used like apostasy fatwa against? This is like a shift from Shia to Sunni, and then you can see that Khomeini manipulate the narrative and use whatever is available, even in Sunni books or Sunni traditional narrative, to fit his ideology and his goal. The same time, it is even we don't know if Khomeini even himself read the book or no. I'm not sure about that because
it's a hard book to read, I assure you.
I looked at a few sources and I don't see anything confirmed that he read the book actually, because based on on his fatwa, on what he published, it seems that he just maybe just on his famous the Satanic Verses, and then the propaganda that that's Rushdie is attacking Prophet Muhammad, not his just expressing his opinion.
And what do you think? I mean, you've talked a bit about it, but what do you think the legacy of that fatwa has been? Because in some ways, it feels like Khomeini kind of succeeded in bullying Rushdie and the West in some ways. I mean, Rushdie has had his supporters, but he also, over the years, has received a lot of criticism that he was even from, Western leaders like President Carter or novelists like John Le Carré. They kind of argued Rushdie was disrespectful and cautioned him against essentially provoking the Islamic world. So, I mean, what do you think the legacy has been? Because it does seem like the Iranians succeeded in kind of breeding fear into the West and sort of raising questions about free speech. I think that's one of the legacies, as I see it, of the fatwa.
So the legacy of his fatwa, that you take an example and a symbolic person and put it in the middle of the picture, and then you oppress all the people. As we see recently, how many people were killed as the protesters and others, because they just say their opinion against Khomeini and his ideology or his revolution, I think. So you need us to set example in everything. This is one of, even the apostasy, it is setting an example that if you go against Imam al-Khomeini or Ali Khamenei or later the Wilayat al-Faqih, you will be executed. So using him as an example or a symbolic figure is very important for Islamic world, because this is how you send signals that those who betray Islam. Then if you read if he read it or not read it, the Satanic, that's his novel. But the important is how you how you separate fear, how you separate the idea of you can oppress people. And this is still ongoing, now around 50 years, still his legacy is still alive. And again, it is about the killing vessel, how you use narrative as a killing machine, because you use the holy words that you brought it originally from Quranic text. So you use murder, you use zealous, you use other words, it is a holy mission. And you also use the ruh of Islam, or the spirit of Islam. You bring all those words, then again you use them or exploit them and send them to the people. Then you are building, again, as I mentioned, especially now, there's a huge system, narrative system. Iran is focusing on building it to radicalize and mobilize people, because now they are shifting the identity of people from I have my model. Actually, I'm not sure if you want to listen to this.
Sure.
But regular people or Muslim people identity divide to 3 levels. First is I call the societal level. So people like me who come from like Islamic Muslim families, we usually like born and raised like at societal level. So this is our level. We can interact with all kind of peoples. We don't have to like, the only things that our border is the moral level, that we, okay, if I don't, if there's this and this things that I don't accept, then you stop. But there's also what Khomeini and other like jihadist movement developed is called moral level. But the moral level and the second level of identity they developed is totally different from what moral level accept and understood in the Western countries. The moral level is either you follow Islam or sympathizing with Muslim around all the world, or you are against us. Then here you get the sympathizer, here and there. By the way, then you will move to the spiritual level or eschatological level, that this level, spiritual level, is the most dangerous one. And this is why now Iran is manipulating. First, they send the like all around the world that Iran is attacked because they are follow the real spirit of Islam. Because they are real followers. You will find in every text in social media the word real Muslim, the spirit of Islam. So you are sending signal to all those followers. Even here in the United States, there is a war against Shia only, not even all Muslim only. Then they are triggering this spiritual level of the identity. Then you'll see there's a displacement of the societal identity, the moral identity. Then you are triggering the spiritual identity, which is there's a huge transformation to a radicalized person. Then this person will be on waiting. So he maybe at the right moment they will move.
Are there any other examples of religious leaders, Muslim leaders, using fatwas against the West? Or is Khomeini the first one who really did it? There must be some other analogies or examples in history, but the Rushdie affair was got the most attention.
I think from my reading is this. I think the first one was actually from Pakistan. I think it's Mauludi. I think it's Mauludi. I think his name, and it was like against British army there. I think this is the first thing I saw in the history, but also there's where I read that. Also there's against Mughal. The Mughal army. Then also there was one. I have it in. I not have it now in my memory, but there's many. But you need around like I think 500 or 600 years ago.
I was surprised. I think a lot of people were surprised when the attack on Rushdie happened in 2022. That this fatwa was still in place. Because I know there were, over the years, the British government, European governments had discussions with the Iranian regime saying, you should lift this. It will be a way for Iran to have better relations with Europe, with the West. But they never lifted it. Why was this fatwa so important to the Islamic Republic to keep it in place, even though it probably had an adverse impact on Iran's economy, on Iran's relations with the West? Why did they keep it in place for so long when even for me, like I kind of forgot about it until the attack happened in 2022.
So let me read you this text, and maybe it will help you and help our audience to connect how Iran is used, why left it there. So our matter, this is belong to Imam Ali. Our matter is difficult and demanding. It can only be carried by a near angel, a sent prophet, or a person whose heart God has tested with faith. So this concept is one of the daily reading thing in all Shia, ordinary Shia. Our matter is difficult and demanding, and it can be carried by near angel, sent a prophet, a person who heart God has tested faith. So if you remove the fatwa, then it means that how you will tell or convince the people that you are the person who God is testing your faith. So even matter case is all about purification, soul purification, is about dignity, and that God test you. I think he was sent to 25 years. But for him, look at the 20 or 25 years. For them, there is also the story of Imam al-Qadhim. Is one of the 12, one of the holy Shia figure. Imam al-Qadhim, who was sent to 25 years into the prison during the Abbasi reign. So now he believed, or he perceived himself as this. He is like imagine himself as a fellow, or like he's doing the same journey like Imam al-Qadhim. So that is why I said temporality is one of the dangerous weapons that Khomeini and Ali Khamenei and even even now the new Mujtaba Khomeini, they're using the same thing. They are focusing on temporality manipulation. That you are here as a Shia person, here for a holy mission. You are not here to live. You are not here to practice your normal life. You come here for a holy mission, and you need to do and take action when you are ready, when the time comes. So here's the thing that why it is like the fatwa also sometimes go down, sometimes appear, because there is a concept called al-taqiyya. Conceal your religion, conceal your target till you receive an order. But the order, they will not like use the traditional or old style. They will just send you signals through narrative manipulation, through a message. For example, if you are not Muslim or you will not have a background in theology, you will not understand why the 3-1 theory flag is circulating in the United States and on some people's social media.
Interesting. So in the Hadi Matar's case, 25 years in prison, or how many he gets, he hasn't been sentenced, is nothing because he's thinking about eternity.
Yeah, that's right.
But from the position of the Islamic Republic, would lifting the fatwa, had they lifted the fatwa, did they think that would have kind of weakened the government, the regime politically, because they would seem to have kind of bended to Westerners rather than pursuing Islamic justice? Was that part of it, that the Islamic Republic just couldn't, for theological reasons, they couldn't lift the fatwa?
Here's the thing. When I look at them, look and keep digging. There's a 3 ways that Iran, or 3 or more ways that communicate with people. They communicate with Western people different way. Even you go now to the original fatwa, you'll see different translation, different interpretations. Some words when you go to the Arabic translation, totally different. When you go Persian translation, totally different. So this, like, if you just manipulate a few words, then you will not get it. So that's why I translated the original. Yesterday I brought the original fatwa from Khomeini. Then I compare it with the English, the English one. Then I noticed that the most important thing that Khomeini said it and signaled it to his followers at that time and currently is just missing.
So what do you think? I mean, Hadi Matar could end up spending the rest of his life in the U.S. Prison. It's unclear yet what the sentence will be, but do you think the Islamic Republic will try to sort of build him up as a great martyr, even though he didn't succeed in killing Rushdie, but he came awfully close, and he did it sort of in the belly of the beast. He did it in the U.S.
Yeah.
How do you expect him to be sort of martyred in some way?
So he will like portray as a hero and a hero of Islam and a hero of the Shia. Even like all the leaders of not just Hadi Matar. So that's why I keep look at the big picture. You have a very complex phenomena, which is how you shape the narrative, then you shape identity, and you then mobilize people. That's what Iran doing. So Hadi Matar is just one single piece. Then you have Ali Khamenei is another piece that he sacrificed himself for the great sake. Then you have even the rest of the leaders that are who called, even the nuclear scientists that are considered also holy figures now. So when your holy figures or those important people sacrifice themselves, why you follow them and also do the same, follow their steps? Especially especially Iran focusing on one thing, and I need you to focus on Ali Khamenei. The last things that he tweeted, he said, "It is the time of appearance. It is the time of appearance. Imam al-Mahdi, the God prepared the land." He used those words in Arabic. That it is the time. It is the causes, and that everything ready to appearance of Imam al-Mahdi. And now, because of the AI thing, this is intensifying in whole Persian media and also in Arabic media and also here. So even you not read it as a Western, like if you cannot understand it, but this is all as signals. They have also like nasheed, they use nasheeds, they read special religious text, special Quranic text. All these are signals.
So you're setting up a pretty dangerous situation in the sense that you've got this war between the U.S. and Iran. As you mentioned, Ali Khomeini has been assassinated, whatever term you want to use. A lot of the leaders have been killed. And this is going to be used by the Islamic Republic to kind of build up this narrative of martyrdom and the need to sacrifice for Islam. Plus, you have these technologies, AI, kind of inflaming it even further. Is that your read on it? We're kind of in a pretty dangerous situation where we can expect kind of more attacks in the West?
Absolutely. I saw, I'm not sure about the originality or the AI or fake, but I will say 90% was real, a video like circulating now on social media. There was like a huge celebration, for Imam, for the Arba'iniya, for Imam al-Hussein in Michigan, holding al-Hashd al-Shabi flags inside the United States. So I said, wow, this is interesting to see Hashd al-Shabi, the militia that United States labeled as a terrorist group here in Michigan.
And fought these groups in Iraq particularly, right? I mean, the U.S. military. I mean, what do you think the U.S. and Western governments, or even Middle Eastern governments, how should they respond to both this what you are describing as kind of a surge in this martyrdom complex, along with these technologies? As I mentioned earlier, there were these attacks in Europe, and a lot of the people who had executed the attacks didn't even really know who they were operating for. They were getting paid crypto, and everything was being done through social media. So it sounds like we're at a pretty dangerous time. How do you think? What should the response be?
So this is my personal opinion, and actually, so I think that the mentality that the mentality that here in DC, that the mentality that the dangerous is decreased, that is not okay, because actually we are looking for more things that will emerge sooner or later, based on Iranian how they keep escalating the narrative. This is one thing. The second thing that also we need to work on this temporality, body trap and temporality mechanism, and we need to know how to deconstruct this whole system, because we are facing a huge narrative that could.
This is basically de-radicalization of some sort.
Yes, yeah. But we need like a step by step, because now all of them, like those, again, we need to back to the funeral of Ali Khamenei, is one of a huge symbolic thing that need to be deconstructed and studied well. Even Swan today, because you are mobilizing, you are sending signal to 2 to 3 million Shia in Iraq, and also in Pakistan, also in Lebanon. There's these all signals that they could be mobilized at any time. If you go to social media, and actually because I read a lot and see how people interaction at the societal level, I notice that people are ready to, just if you give them just one order, they will do whatever they order to do.
So this war has been going on the surface since late February, but you're describing a situation from the Iranian or the Shia mind. It's only just started. Is that
yes
accurate?
Yeah.
Not being
Yeah.
too.
That's my interpretation, because again, we are looking at weaponization of narrative, that because Iran know they cannot fight for long fight with we have just not like military operation. If we keep using military operation, they will not succeed, because they know there's the power imbalance. So they will, but then you have the Houthi here. The dangerous always come from mobilizing locals. That is how ISIS started, actually. You work and you operate at the ground. Is it just operation and you just bomb them, then you're done? Or you need to think about who's your enemies on the ground?
And people like Hadi Matar
is just one of pieces.
He's just one of in this army.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been a sobering discussion, Suha, and thank you so much for joining me to discuss the Rushdie affair and how it continues to impact global politics. Before we go, where can listeners find you or learn more about your work?
Actually, I publish on Homeland Security Today as a columnist, and there, so you may want to go there and read my articles.
That's great. Well, for listeners, if you made it this far, please consider leaving us a review, preferably a good one. It makes a huge difference in helping people find us. And if you have an idea or a question for us, or you just want to say hi, send us a note at thethreatpod@gwu.email.edu. Again, Suha, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jay, for having me again. I appreciate it.